Hello, hello. This is a random video from a random person about all of my favorites from the first half of the year, but really focused through like end of August. Okay. So it's like a 3/4 situation. I wanted to cover movies, music, TV shows, books, podcasts, reading, and what I'm calling socialist agenda. So this is like all over the place. And if you want some recommendations or just want to hear if something you love is talked about, keep watching. Okay, first thing I wanted to cover is music. I have been loving Casey Musgraves' album, Middle of Nowhere. The way I feel about Casey Musgraves is actually the way I feel about the second music band I'm going to recommend, Jungle. Super different sounds. So Casey Musgraves, if you're not familiar with her, is country, like modern country, and I would put her in like experimental country because not a massive country listener. I listen to some here and there. If I have friends that listen to country, I'll listen to it with them. But Casey is experimental and will kind of tap into other genres and just have really interesting like themes and concepts for her albums. She has an amazing voice. I love every album she has, but I super love Star-Crossed. And then I love Star-Crossed so much I had to stop listening to it because it was making me like internalize her sadness. Anyway, Middle of Nowhere is fabulous. It's so good. And I feel this with her and Jungle, that both of them, their music is so good. And it just feels like it should have always existed. It's like, oh, how did a song like this not exist? You know what I mean? So I just love it. I love it. Jungle just released a new album. That's why I'm saying like through late August. I think they released it on the 18th, maybe, of August, called Sunshine, and it is so good. If you do not if you do not know Jungle, let me put you on. They make funky 70s groovy, disco-y, dancey, fun music that also incorporates other genres. And one of the things that makes them unique, I mean, their sound is fantastic, but they also make these visual albums to go along with their music. And they work with the same like set of dancers, or as many as possible, the same dance group pretty much. And they'll make these music videos or these concept albums and these visual albums where it's the same dance team dancing through the whole album. My nose is itching me, so I feel like I'm describing that poorly. But they are truly awesome. The dancing is just next level. The sets, the cinematography. So the music, amazing. The cinematography, amazing. The choreography, amazing. It's best. It's the best. So Casey Musgraves, Jungle. And then I also wrote, I continue to love Polo and Pan. This is like I don't even know. I think they're European, kind of like house music, but not. You need to listen to it. I love them and I listen to them the most out of anything, I think, when I run. Used to listen to a lot more like throwback R&B and rap, and I love rap and R&B, but I'm really not listening to explicit music anymore. So it kind of has adjusted what I listen to, and Polo and Pan has been fabulous for me. Most of their music is in other languages, and I just love it. I'm also someone who enjoys instrumental or music with no no singing, no talking. So anyway, that's my music. Okay. Movies. I am a nerd and I have been leaning into my nerd bag like full throttle this year, and it's been so much fun. I think it's really fun to just embrace those parts of you that you make you unique, and not that I'm unique for being a nerd, but those things that make you tick. And I love Marvel, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, etc. Sci-fi fantasy. I'm not a massive fantasy reader. I would like to read more, but anyway, movies. I loved the new Spider-Man, and in preparation for this Spider-Man, I'll go on my shows list in a minute. I watched a lot of Marvel shows. I loved the movie Brand New Day. I thought it was great. I would love to see it again in theaters if I can. I saw it with a group of like 20 people, best time ever. And we watched it in something called Screen X, which is when there's like a peripheral screen so that it's more of like 180 degree. The wings aren't used for like every clip, like only certain parts of the movie include it, but I thought it was really fun. It was $25, so kind of expensive, but really cool. I've also seen The Odyssey twice, and I would see it a third time if we can get into the 70 millimeter IMAX that's in King of Prussia. We live in Philly. I would go and I would see it because I really like it. And I would like to see that format. I'm not like a massive like special format person, but I really enjoyed seeing Screen X, and I would like to see the 70 millimeter version of the Odyssey. I really like the way the Odyssey and several other things I've watched recently kind of touch on really important anti-war themes and like just the brutality of war, and how even if you think you're being humane, war is never humane, you know? And it's like, oh well, we don't hurt women and children, we just hurt men hurting men, and it's still not good. It's still not good. So I've really loved, and I'm articulating that poorly, but I've loved how the Odyssey tapped into that. Because with the Trojan War, it's like, are we supposed to be rooting for these people who stormed into this, you know, city and killed a ton of people? Like, I'm not for that. So I thought it was very interesting. I know people be like, oh, it's woke. And you know what? Wake up. I'm pro woke. I'm dark woke. Um, but yeah, watching Spider-Man was really fun. And I'm also part of a rewatch group. So we're watching um, a bunch of Marvel stuff. We're Marvel focused. So we rewatched Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3 leading up to this fourth movie with Tom Holland. I would definitely be willing, and I want to rewatch the other Spider-Mans with Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, but haven't gotten there yet because now we're also watching and prepping for Doomsday. So we're prepping for Doomsday is what I'm calling it. And we're going to try to watch a lot of the stuff that's on the list that Marvel has put out of things that are going to tie in. If we can, we might run out of time because it's a really long list. And we've also been trying to watch the big three, which is Thor, Captain America, Iron Man, just rewatching those as classics. Um, some of that will tie in to Doomsday, some of it won't. So, okay, that's my music, movies, shows list. Now we are, oh, sorry, actually, now we're entering my shows list. Shows. I have been in my horror bag as well as my Marvel bag. So, one of my favorite shows is called From. I love From. I love watching the explainer videos about From. I love texting my friends about From. I love memes about From. Like, From is a whole niche community, and it's so much fun. So I've been loving From. Um, season 4 just wrapped, and there's going to be one more season. They're already filming. This is a show that is like a murder box show, I think, like a mystery box show. Could be also called a murder box show, where people enter this town, they can't get out, and there's monsters at night. And that is like within the first 20 minutes, you get that. And that's where it starts. So it's a really, really, really good. Speaking of horror, Widow's Bay blew my mind. Widow's Bay was just phenomenal. Like, I loved watching From. Widow's Bay was definitely the biggest surprise of 2026 so far, and I just adored it. I love many types of humor, including dark humor, black comedy, yeah. And I just thought it was phenomenal. The funny things were so funny, and the scary things were really well done. It was amazing, but I think of it more as funny because I mean it is the funniest thing to me. I just love it. I also really enjoyed House of Dragon I'll say this semester, this season 3. Season 2 to me was like kind of a disaster. There were some high highs and some low lows, and the pacing was off, like, and it didn't it felt like it was covering the same things every episode kind of. I loved House of Dragon I can almost say semester this season. And it won't be back for like 2 years. So that's the very big downside of that show. I also, getting back into Marvel, watched Daredevil seasons 1 and 2. And then I watched Jessica Jones season 1, Luke Cage season 1, and now I'm watching The Punisher. I haven't seen any of these before, actually. I wasn't as into Marvel back then, and the like trailers for the shows didn't seem super appealing to me. I heard they were really dark. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I think if I had to rank them right now, Daredevil and Punisher are my two faves. And then I love Jessica Jones and Luke Cage, so probably kind of toss up. I mean, Luke Cage can be very campy, but in a good way. I really like all of them. And oh, and we watched The Defenders. But The Defenders was good. It was kind of like way too short, and I felt like there should have been much more, like a lot more action than there was. But I know that they were hoping to get a season two, and but yeah, I just felt the pacing of such a short series was off. I feel like episode 1, 2 should have been set up. 3, 4 should have been like building. 5, 6 should have been like climax and resolution. It's kind of what I think. I think it was 6 episodes. Anyway, but I know it was also a bridge to these other shows that continue a lot of those plots. So I am excited to keep watching. Right now, I'm watching Punisher, and I am obsessed with Grant Castle. I have just gotten to know him in the last year, and he is quickly one of my favorite Marvel characters, period. And I think the actor that plays him is just so phenomenal. John, I forget how to say his last name. I'm like Bernthal, something like that. He is just phenomenal. He's so charismatic and brings such a humanity to such a dark character who is so troubled. He's just phenomenal. Um, I also loved, as a quick aside, I loved Paradise season 2. Season 1 I really enjoyed. Season 2 was definitely like more my speed and just really exciting, and watching all these theory videos and what's going on and how do things connect. I really enjoyed it, and I didn't really have much expectation going into season 1 or even season 2. So I'm looking forward to season 3, which will be the last season, I think the showrunner said. I also started but haven't finished Bridgerton and Little Women. I love Bridgerton, but I also feel like the Cinderella thing doesn't really do it for me, and I just got to get back to it. I got to get back to it. I was watching with people and we haven't continued. So, Little House on the Prairie, I loved the books growing up. Although I've been researching a lot of like the problematic things about them more recently. And I liked the show starting off, but I almost like I don't know. I don't know if I'll keep watching it. We'll see. I haven't watched it in a while. Okay, podcasts. I have been loving the podcast. This is in the Marvel and nerd universe. I have been loving Midnight Boys and House of R so much, but especially Midnight Boys. I've been listening to House of R for a long time, and I love what they do, and I loved binge mode especially. And I feel bad for House of R because they're probably always going to get that. But what can I say? Binge mode was lightning in a bottle. But I'm also loving Midnight Boys, so they cover a lot of different like DC, Marvel, Star Wars, all this stuff. And I've really come to love like those dudes and their personalities and their bits, and it's just great. It's just great. Um, I love it. And I also have been listening to lots of political podcasts, but I've actually probably been listening to less as I've been like enjoying nerd culture. And a girl can only take so much of the same thing. And sometimes it's just like more of the same bad thing is happening in our country. And it's important to stay informed, but at a point, I don't need to listen to like 20 podcasts talking about the same event, which I was doing for the first like year of Trump's second term, for the first year of this term. Um, but I have been loving I Hate Politics. I have been loving Majority Report with Sam Cedar, and I've been enjoying The Humanist. These are all very left, progressive, socialist type podcasters. And they're great. I Hate Politics is a new find, and I love it. I feel like I'm learning a lot. And the it's a solo podcast, and the host is a Black progressive, and I think I just learn a lot from his perspective. And he helps reframe a lot of the cultural fighting that sometimes happens or is allegedly happening between white progressives and Black revolutionaries. And he just has a really interesting perspective on so many things. He's really well articulated. Like he articulates things really well. It's great. Majority Report with Sam Cedar, I do like a lot as well. I recommend that if you haven't listened to it. That's more of like political news and interviews. Well, I Hate Politics is more political commentary, but he also has another channel that is focused on like political analysis and explaining different things about politics or about government. And then The Humanist is in the same realm. I really like The Humanist a lot too. I find it educational, funny, pretty short clips. I will say I previously was listening to a lot of Bulwark and Pod Save America. And I think as time has gone on, I mean, I think I was very left for a while, but I was really excited and hopeful that Kamala could win. And now that she hasn't won, and the Democrats have, I felt, been overall pretty feckless, it's shifted me more left again, and just really wanting to see the most progressive candidates as possible win, such as anyone who's DSA, I'm going for. Anyone who is working families party, I'm going for. Like, I am pushing for those types of candidates because overall their anti-establishment, anti-APAC, etc., will mean that they are someone who is hopefully more willing to go against the grain. Yeah, I could go on about that forever, but I'm nervous that my phone battery will die, so which is what I'm using to film. So I'm going to keep going. I've been loving those podcasts. And yeah, I still like the Bulwark, but they are Republicans or conservatives who have become more moderate or more liberal. So they're always going to have a more conservative slant. And I think it's valuable to hear all perspectives, but I'm also like, you know what? I don't know. So sometimes I'm into that, sometimes I'm not. Reading. I will go back more into my like what I'm calling socialist agenda in a moment, but reading, I started reading the book of Mice and Men, and honestly, it's so good. And I just felt this fear that something is going to happen to these characters. And I ended up reading spoilers because the suspense was like killing me. And also, when I get into that state about a book, then I have to finish it, but I'll like not do anything I'm supposed to do. So I was like, I need to like read this so that I don't stay up all. I need to like quickly read spoilers so I don't stay up all night. I know it's kind of wrong of me. I read the spoiler. This book is going to break me in half. It's going to break me in half because it already has been. And now I know what happens. And it's brutal for me. I take some things really to heart. And I don't read a ton of like Holocaust books, for example, because I simply will crash out and I will cry about it for weeks. And that's not, I think, outside of the realm of normal. Like, I don't think it's anything like, to be concerned about, but it's just, it hits me really hard. So I can only do like some of that content a few times a year, if that, because it really, really disturbs me. And it should disturb everyone. But yeah, I'll be like crying in the middle of the grocery store thinking about a book that I read. So I also have been listening to, oh, I forgot to say into doing movies. I've been doing a Lord of the Rings rewatch with people who have never seen it. So it's a rewatch for me. They've never seen it. And I have been super into that. So like Marvel, Lord of the Rings, The Odyssey. Lord of the Rings has been amazing. We just watched Fellowship this past weekend and I made this amazing like blueberry coffee cake and then this quiche. I really liked the way both came out. The folks I watched it with hadn't seen it before. They loved it. They had lots of questions. We have a little group chat going. We're going to watch Two Towers this weekend. So I've been loving watching those, but I also have been now listening to Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring. I've listened / read them before, but it's a great re-listen because it's been, I don't know, maybe 6 years. And this is kind of throwaway and crazy. I have been listening sometimes to Frida McFadden when I run. Is she a great writer? No. Is it my favorite genre? No. But it is pretty interesting, especially on a run and you kind of get lost in it. And I think that can be a great thing. So that's been my vibe lately. Okay, socialist agenda pretty much just has to do with like anti-consumption, really. But there is and I have hobbies here. Okay, I'm gonna really start picking it up now. All right, socialist agenda. I have been really focused on trying to become more anti-consumer and or anti-consumption as my lifestyle. And a few different things I've been doing to that end. I've been watching lots of finance videos. I've also been watching compilations of that are on YouTube of how people are saving money or money advice or money motivation. And I've also been watching some accounts that I think have really great content around this with a social justice lens, including Shelby. I don't know her last name, but if you're interested, let me know and I can give you her YouTube. But if you Google like Shelby anti-consumption or like zero waste, you'll find her. She's great. And then anti-haul videos, sometimes there'll be compilations of someone being like, look how crazy this trend is, and they'll just play a bunch of it. And it kind of helps me get grossed out by consumption. To that end, I've also enjoyed being part of Buy Nothing groups. I downloaded an app called Freebies. And then I also have been using Depop. So for Star Wars, or sorry, for Spider-Man, we wanted to go wear shirts to the theater. So I ended up thrifting some shirts on Depop for Mark and I. Now, the real big con is I didn't think of this in time, so I ended up also buying Target shirts while they were shipping because they didn't get here in time. And we were really trying to wear Spider-Man shirts as a group. So that was a slight fail, but the general idea of using Depop I think was good. And I've been using Depop to thrift some things for a friend who's eloping, and I want to start using that more intentionally because sometimes the thrift store is great, but it can require a lot of hunting. And this is, you can be in the comfort of your bed and you're searching. I think buying used is so much better than buying new, and I think buying nothing is even better than buying used. So yeah, I've been kind of trying to buy nothing and just consume less, but then when I'm consuming, trying to consume free things, trying to consume used things. And let me think. I also did start using an auction app. So these are things that are in a warehouse in Jersey, and you have to make an appointment to pick it up. But I've been doing that for my friend's wedding and finding a bunch of really great stuff. So I will keep y'all posted on that. But I think that could be a great way to be careful in my consumption, but get things at a fraction of a cost or things that otherwise might end up in a landfill. I think the thing with auctions, though, you really need to have a sense of like, am I going to like just kind of go crazy? It's seems like a gambling type of thing for me, or is this something I can stick to like my spending limit I set for an item? And am I letting this thing dictate what I should buy, or am I coming onto this app with a plan of what I want? Okay, community involvement. I have been loving being part of my neighborhood association. It's been amazing. I think Mark and I are actually going to help chair the playground committee, which I think is so cute and fun and very Leslie Knope of us. And I'm so here for it. It's been a great way to get to know people and see the ways that local government can affect your life and the things that people do to make your life better that you don't always notice. So it's also made me appreciative of my environment and appreciative of all the groups that must make sidewalks unweeded or give parks like fresh plants or remove, random. One time Mark and me literally swept up like pebbles off a bridge for like 2 hours. So things like that I would never think of, and now I have appreciation. It's been really cool. And I also think, yeah, being part of my Marvel group has been a big community involvement thing. And if you know me, I'm a very strong Christian, or like I'm a very devout believer. I don't know. That feels like I'm also complimenting myself. You get the point. I prioritize my Christian faith in my life. And so I'm always like in community in that area. But it's been really fun to also be in community with neighbors, from all backgrounds. And it's been really valuable to us as well as the Marvel group. Okay. I've also tried to grow hobbies by getting into gardening. So gardening is something I just decided to get into this year. I have been also, in addition to my anti-consumption, my socialist agenda, I have been kind of learning more about kind of homesteading, kind of prepping, but not like extreme prepping, if that makes sense. But the reality is, I've lived a lot of my adult life with no preparation. Like, if my water went out for a day, I'd be screwed kind of situation. Like, oh, there's a hurricane coming, I didn't buy anything for it. Like, so we could be a little bit more prepared. I have a long ways to go before I would be considered a doomsday prepper, outside of my Marvel consumption for doomsday. Okay, anyway, but it's been really good to learn how to garden. I just want to develop a level of self-sufficiency. There's been so many the cost of food is going up. There's been so many recalls, and just learning a practical skill to help myself and my neighbors is something I really value. And I did have the goal of growing all these peppers and all this lettuce this summer and giving it to my neighbors, giving it to like this like perishable food fridge in our neighborhood. When I tell you I have a long way to go. I have a long way to go. There's been some wins in the garden, but there's been some serious losses. I could go on about this for a long time, but I will just stick to that. Gardening is a skill that I am working on. I have a long ways to go. Long ways to go. And I just enjoyed being outside as much as possible. So being part of like neighborhood cleanups with our association and gardening has been a really great activities in the spring and summer. And then my favorite workouts, I would say running. I've been running. I'm doing the Philly half in fall, and I'm about to start my half training plan. I had a back injury that I got from, injury is a strong term. I hurt my back doing PT, but it's better now. So I've kind of been a little bit off my running the last week or two. But I've been enjoying running. I do think once the half is over, I'm going to lock in to strength training because I feel like I really want to strength train. I love running too, so it's really tough, you know? And then also baking and cooking. Okay, so this is my last kind of like hobby thing. I love to bake, I love to cook. I like to cook. I love to bake. I have been obsessed with the Ambitious Kitchen recipe book that Mark got me. So it's Ambitious Kitchen. It's great. It has soups, salads, pastas, meatballs, baked items. It's phenomenal. I love it. I recently, for the Lord of the Rings, we had blueberry coffee cake, we had quiche, but I've also made chicken burgers, all kinds of sides, pastas, cookies, cinnamon rolls, salads. I have so much more of the book to try out, but I haven't had a bad recipe yet. Like there's ones where I'm like, it's nothing special, but I haven't had a bad recipe yet. Okay, that was a lot. I would love to know if you like any of these things, what you thought. Yeah, I think kind of recounting all of this, it's really funny that I've been super in my nerd bag and super in my socialist bag, although it's not surprising. That's what I thought was the case. Um, I would, for the remainder of the year, I would like to continue my nerd theme. I'd like to keep doing all of these things. I really want to continue to grow my gardening skills. And I've just learned with gardening, it's just something that takes time. Like I've read and researched a lot, but it just takes practice and kind of getting to know the seasons and getting to know how plants grow and what that timeline feels like, I think. So I'm hoping I continue to grow in that. And then Lord of the Rings, Marvel, etc. Now, a bag I haven't been in a long time is Star Wars, but I can't enter that right now. Like, I kind of have to see Lord of the Rings through, and then maybe I could do that. Um, and I also would like to read more, especially when fall gets started. But we'll see. I've been limiting my time on social media. I use an app called Opal, and it's you can pay for it, but you can easily get around that and just use it for free. Even though it's not 100% of the capacity, you can use like 90% of the same features for free. So I also recommend that. I think that using that and sticking to my uh, social media consumption rules will help me have more time for like media consumption I really want to do, which is like deeper, like movies, TV shows, reading, conversations, hobbies. Anyway, thank you for watching my long video. If you made it to the end, let me know.